know shit.
Hey guys, how you doing? So what is it? Week 4, 5, or 6, or something like that? I think today is it's Friday. Actually, I know it's Friday because somebody corrected me when I thought it was Saturday, just before I got on here. But yeah, so on this episode, what I thought we'd do is check in on all our past guests, all my buddies, my friends out there, and just see how everybody's doing, and you know, what they've been up to and what this experience has been like. And I know a lot of them are artists and stuff like that. See what kind of cool projects and stuff they're working on. So yeah, I thought I would just go through them and say hey, and how are you doing? So let's do it. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. It helps grow the channel. And at the end of the episode, check it. I'm going to explain how you could be a producer. So yeah, watch it all the way to the end, all right? And I'm really excited to check in on our people. So let's do this. Boom!
Even know no shit.
All right, so let's check up with Robin. Now, Robin has been with me since day one. He handles all the tech side of stuff. He gets me computers that are running and making sure everything is smooth, and then troubleshoots any problems I get in. He's really my partner in all this whole journey. Putting together K-Man Don't Know Shit, and I love him dearly. I've been friends with Robin for a long, long time. Great guy. So yeah, let's just check in with him and see what's what. Robin, great to see you, brother.
Hey, man, good to see you.
Well,
unfortunately, not in the flesh, man. We should be in the flesh.
You know, it was kind of crazy. I was just saying right before I called you up here that that you're one of the guys that you are the guy with me that gets all this together, and without you I wouldn't be able to do any of this, and that you're in charge of getting all the tech worked out, because I'm a dumbass motherfucker, you know.
I don't know, man. You've gotten pretty good at it. I kind of like just gave you the tools and you've been doing it yourself, so I can't take all the credit. So.
Well, it's definitely a challenge, but it's been fun as hell. But yeah, so I had this idea, and this is why I called you up. I wanted to run it by you and see what you think. My idea is, since now we're working on this system here, on being able to reach out to people and record the show in this manner, that I'm gonna call up all the past guests that we've had, the 15 or 16 of them, and just do a little check-in on them. I thought that was a good way to go check on our people.
Yeah, man. Like a heartbeat. Like, hey, bud, yeah. What's going on? Like, where are you? What's the weather like? And look, we have this going on. Like, you have Zoom, so like the whole having to get together, having to arrange some kind of meeting, or the fact that you have to be in the same place. This simplifies all that. So,
absolutely. Yeah, I think we have it together now. Like, I'm gonna call up. I'll try Sean tonight. I'll call him up and see how this all works out. I got Zoom set up. I got a GoPro on me. We got recording on Pro Tools, and we're recording on the computer, the Zoom thing. So I think with that, we'll be able to capture enough to have this go on,
Right on. Well, yeah, what? I think I've been talking to a lot of people out there, and we're like making sure to keep in touch with everybody. I mean, like I've been lucky enough that I've been so busy that I barely noticed the pandemic until the last couple of days, where I'm like, oh shit, I'm actually not working for a few days.
Well, and that's why I love you, man. And that's why I love you, because sometimes you're working so hard on all this stuff that you don't even get out of the house for a few days, and never mind a pandemic. Well, what's a month?
Yeah, I did have a really nice surprise today. I wanted to mention was that my doorbell rang, and I was like, what the hell? I'm not expecting anybody. And I looked down, and there's a case of frickin' lug tread, Patrizio, and props to Bose. Pat dropped off a case of Bose as a hello, and they threw me some double horns from the car. And
hell yeah, man. Away. Well, that's the big shout out to Patrizio then. Man, I'm stuck here with this. I would much rather have a lug tread. Love you, brother. So how are you holding up, though? I mean, yeah, obviously you're somebody that's able to take care of stuff by working out of the house and stuff like that. But how are you dealing with not getting out and stuff? Because I do know that you love
It's started to become a bit of a bore. I mean, there are some people that I love. I love a good hug. It's a big fucking problem. You know. Oh, also, I didn't marry a hairdresser.
Oh shit, man! I might have to lend you my wife.
Oh no, let's not try that. No, but I do have a friend, the only friend that I see throughout this, and she lives not too far away. I'm gonna bike over there, and I'm gonna do my best to raise the sides myself. But I'm clumsy like that. It's not my department.
Yeah, man. Now, I know one thing about you. That I know that you've often baked bread. You're a
Oh, yeah.
baker. And
Yeah.
a good all-around cook and all this type thing. Has this changed your game at all? Your cooking game with the virus going on?
No, what it's done is it's just changed the number of questions that I get about bread making. So like almost every day I got like for a while, especially early on, like in the last few weeks, of getting like 5 to 10 requests a day and like photos and like what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What do I do here? Etc. And I'm like, all right, cool, this is good. It kind of feels like for once everybody's switching to my schedule. They're like baking bread, taking afternoon naps, you know, like
That's
I don't
awesome.
know.
I've had a bunch of your breads and stuff like this. By the way, I tried making pizza dough a couple of weeks ago,
I saw that. Yeah.
and I didn't use what they recommend, the pizza dough flour. I just used all purpose, and it worked and stuff like that.
That's
But I
fine.
did
Yeah.
I did find it a bit heavier than the light one, but I can't find it anywhere.
So right now it's going to be a bit of a trouble. Like if you wanted to make like true like Napolitana or like, you know, Sicilian pizza or shit like that, like you'd have to get some double O flour. You're
Yeah.
not going to find that anywhere right now.
That's
It's
it. I
all,
don't-
yeah.
I have one question for you. Now, I wanted to make bread, okay? I even have a bread making machine here type thing that I could just throw all the ingredients in, okay? Except for I have one problem. I can't find any powdered milk anywhere.
You don't need powdered milk. So bread is basically like, you know, it's flour, water, yeast, and a bit of salt. And that's all you need. Those are your basic ingredients. That's your basic white bread.
Okay.
But you don't need necessarily a fat content. You can use vegetable oil as a replacement for that. Just a drop of it. It's just like really like half a tablespoon in a batch of bread to do that work for you. You don't need powdered milk or anything fancy. I mean, like
When I
bread.
get off,
We've been making bread for what, like 10,000 years? I think we can make it out of anything.
I know I'm such a fucking, you know, futuristic loser, you know, like the rest of them. I gotta adapt to this shit. But I just looked at the recipe for the bread maker. It comes with like 10 different recipes for bread,
Yeah.
but every one of them took powdered milk. So I can say fuck the powdered milk.
Yeah, or you could make it by hand because I mean you already did the pizza dough, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
really, you're working on the same concept. So it's really not a big deal.
All right, I'm gonna try
Start
that
easy.
tonight. I'm
Start
gonna
easy.
try it tonight, man.
Yeah, the thing is, don't fall asleep when your bread's on the rise because you'll end up with like a yeast monster on your. I've done this. This happened to me on Clark Street.
Oh man. Hey, listen, it's great checking in with you. You're doing all
Yeah,
right?
man.
The family, everybody's all well?
Yeah, everybody's well. My mom, I just talked to her earlier. She's 75, so she's kind of like forced to stay inside. She can't really go anywhere. So me and my brothers are checking in on her, keeping her busy by remote. And yeah, everybody else seems to be pretty okay.
All right, cool.
Gonna get the garden going.
Absolutely. All right, listen. So I'm going to start doing the rounds. I'll contact all our guests and do a little check-in like this, and we'll get it all together. And just want to say thanks because we haven't actually done this on screen, but thanks for being a partner, man. You're fantastic to work with, brother.
It's a brilliant thing. Love you to bits.
Love you too, brother. All right, catch you soon.
All right.
Peace.
Cheers, man. Peace.
Yay.
All right, good to see Robin. Man, I haven't actually seen him face to face in quite a while now. Let's give a shout out to Sean Ryan. Let's see if he's around and if we can get in touch with him. And yeah, I know he had quite the adventure trying to get back to Canada. I want to hear a little bit about it. Sean, good to see you, man.
Hey, buddy.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. I mean, it's a weird time, but everyone's great. I mean, just staying home and having fun.
the last time we talked, you were about to hit the road over to Europe.
Yeah, we did do that, except it unfortunately got cut right short. It's a really weird, kind of a long story. I can try and make it real short for you, but it's a bit of a long one. But
well, that's it, because you guys left. You went over to Europe, and like I know that's when the virus all kind of like started going, right?
We flew over. The tour started like February 4th or something like that. We flew over on the 4th, and then so we did a bunch of stuff in Holland, Germany, France, and then we did like a good week and a half in Spain, and then we were about to go do this big Italian leg, and it got canceled, basically. And then the government said you couldn't even come over the borders. So we're like, oh, this is a thing, but we didn't really think it was going to be a global thing. We just, but when a whole country says no, so we just kind of we kind of got some last minute pop-up gigs in Germany just to fill our time, and then we went out to the east, Croatia and Romania and Poland and Czech, all that kind of stuff. But then when we were trying to finish up the tour, we were supposed to fly to Australia at the end of the tour, and that got canceled too. And then we got stuck in Germany for an entire week. We were staying at our accordion player Nikki's place in a little town called Minden in Germany. We actually had a really good time doing that, but we were nervous getting our flights back. But we ended up getting home, and I had to do the legal 14 days.
Wow, what an adventure!
Before I could even go to the corner store for myself. Yeah. No, I mean, we got lucky. It could have been much, much worse. It did kind of suck for the tour, but I mean, that's first world problems compared to what other people have gone through, of course.
Well, that's it. Did you guys get like majorly delayed or have a really hard time getting a flight back to North America?
Yeah. Funny you asked that. We paid quite a bit more than it should have been. We got lucky though. Finney was able to get a flight through Iceland, which is they were pretty safe. When we got to Schiphol, which is the Amsterdam International Airport, to get home, those big boards where you look up and you see what the different flights are. Like there's probably like a dozen and a half or something different flights from different cities. Every single flight, when we walked into the airport, before we got our boarding pass, before we checked in, every single flight was canceled except for the one to Toronto through Iceland.
Wow.
Like all the ones in New York, all the ones in Chicago, all the ones in Boston, LA, Florida, Miami, whatever, they were all canceled. We were the only one that was so we were like, so we just got our boarding pass. When we went to security, got to our gate, we were like, God, so good to be Canadian.
Man, it's times like those. I mean, I'm sure it makes you guys as a unit really have to come together because you get into survival mode and shit like that, right?
Yeah, well, we actually were in a small apartment, just the four of us. It was Finney, Nicole, who owns the place, Jamie Oliver, who was playing drums with us on this tour, who also plays drums for the UK Subs. Great guy. Finney's okay too, and we love Nicole. But the four of us were in a small apartment for about a week, and we just kind of made food, and we did a little live recording in the kitchen, and at the end we were all like, what, if we can do that, we can just tour forever then, like, because you're in such close quarters, and you discover how much you love people and how nice it is to be around them. Because if you didn't like them after 2 or 3 days of that, you'd want them gone. And I could have done another week with those guys, no problem, And that's, yeah, it's a good thing.
That's incredible. I know what you mean when you say like at the start of it, like, we didn't really realize it was going to affect the whole globe, right? I'm talking about the first weeks of, you start hearing about it more and more. But then, when they started saying everybody should come back to Canada, like my parents are stuck in Jamaica right now, and they can't get home at all either. I mean, you guys, I think they, kind of like being on the last bus in, right?
Well, we got really lucky. I mean, we got unlucky because we lost a lot of money, unfortunately. Like when, it takes a lot of money to start a tour, and we got halfway through the tour. I think we were just banging. It was great. Like, we weren't opening for people. We were headlining everything. The Spanish shows were all sold out. We had these deals to come back within a couple of months to do bigger events. Like, it was going great. We upped our merch, and then everything got sort of paid off. And then the rest of the tour was going to be, and then nope.
Yeah. That's the timing that a lot of touring musicians or people that don't play music at all don't realize, that just season wise, it was like when you start building up, bands kind of get in debt at the start, right? And then you make your profit as it goes on. Same thing for us. We just started our series of shows, got in debt to be able to start it all, and then did 2 shows, and then next thing you know, everything was shut down. So like we're pretty jammed up.
Yeah.
So how's it been since you've been home though?
I mean, I don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, I know so many people have it much worse than I do. I got a really cool little place here, and Sheena's awesome. Hold on a second.
Are we gonna get a visitor?
He's sleeping right next to me.
Who's this?
It's little Chester.
Hey, buddy.
Big Chester, but so he keeps me company. But
that's
anyway,
awesome.
So yeah, we've been just holding up, and I mean, I know so many people have it rough, and we just don't. Like I'm so happy to stay home, especially getting off a tour. Anyways, even if everything was normal, I still want to come home and crash and burn for a week or two. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I know what you mean. I keep saying that too. Everybody's like, "Oh, and how are you doing?" I'm like, I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, I mean, shows are canceled and lost a fucking shit ton of money and stuff like that. But at the same time,
you got a pool.
That's right. Hey, buddy.
You can social distance in the pool all fucking summer.
Right,
I'm gonna jump over your fence and break in one night.
I know you will. Hey, listen, bro. I just wanted to check in on everybody.
Man.
So listen, send your love to Sheena, and you guys stay well and check in anytime. All right.
You and yours, okay? Can't wait to
Love
watch
you,
this
brother.
with the rest of the boys. Cheers. Take
Peace.
care.
Fucking Sean, man. All right, I love you, brother. Get on my pool. All right, who gonna check in? Let's check on Frankie, my bass player. Check out his episode as well, where we talked about touring and stuff like that. It's a pretty good one. All right, let's see how he's doing.
All right. Frankie, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Pretty good, man. Good to see you too, man.
Cheers. I had a feeling you'd have a beer, so I got one too.
Cheers, dude.
Yeah, boom. Absolutely. You're sitting outside. It's beautiful out today.
Yeah, man. The sun is there. It's nice. I just had a nice visit from our friend Colin and Jan. They brought me this.
And the new Brains album.
Yeah, man.
What is it? Satana
Tarantula. Yeah, dude. And they got us some plants too for my girlfriend and me, and some catnip for the cat, and even a pizza. So like just before you called, they were right outside, and we were talking with them. It was good to see them.
Absolutely, man. It's good to see anybody right now at this point. I mean,
absolutely.
When all this happened, like you remember, like we were playing in the States, right? And
were we? We were in Ontario.
Right. Because we just did 1 weekend in the States with the Abrupters, and then we had those 2 shows in Ontario, and that's right when things were really starting, eh?
That's right. Yeah, it was the weekend of Friday the 13th of March. And I remember being in the van with you and the boys, and all this shit was going down, and like we were all listening to the radio and freaking out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it on the way to Oshawa or something? Yeah, Oshawa.
Yeah, that's right.
And we had another flat tire.
Man, the last 2 years, flat tires. Eh? What the fuck? It's been crazy.
Yeah, that's the way we roll, with flat tires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to get jamming again. It's fucking driving me insane.
Me too. But I've been playing a lot by myself here. You know, things that I don't usually practice so much. You know, like just me playing guitar. I play bass all the time. So I've been playing a lot of guitar and worked on my singing. I even worked with my girlfriend on some covers, some Slacker song, some Vic Ruggiero song that we sing together.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Well, that's it. Eh? I mean, that's the upside of all this. I mean, we get to, time to do some of the projects that we haven't had a chance to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, when we started writing songs and stuff, we're just starting that process. And like you, I'm getting to play a whole bunch of stuff that I wouldn't normally do.
Yeah. What's your show today for the "This is the end of the fucking world" thing on the
That's
Facebook?
right. Yeah.
It was good, funny. Man. Yeah, it was good.
It was funny because oddly, as soon as I started doing it, I felt more nervous doing that than like in front of hundreds of people with the band and the whole thing. It's just like, okay, go. What the fuck? I'm not somebody that really prepared anything. You know what I mean? Just gotta, go high and let it flow.
Yeah. Also, I imagine that like being like having no like real audience in front of you, and like also no backing band with you must be like.
Well, that's it.
Quite different.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's good. It's fun to have all these challenges and stuff. How you guys been holding up at the house?
Oh, real good. I mean, I've been working quite a lot. Even though with the lockdown, I was just like preparing the comeback to work. And Eugenie was home for a while, but she was working on some school stuff. So it was not. I mean, it doesn't make a big difference for us, except for the weekends where I'm used to see you guys and see all my friends and jam and play shows. So that's different. But like you say, we it gives us the chance to work on stuff we don't usually have time for, or even just like hang out and play some video game that I mean, my Xbox was not plugged in for like 2 years, and now it's plugged in and I play all the time. So yeah.
What's the game that you're on?
I was playing Red Dead Redemption just now, just before Colin showed up, and and I'm planning to get the new Xbox. So
cool.
Yeah,
we gotta get one of those in the van.
That'll be great. I have my
Fuck yeah.
Switch for the van though, and the Switch is nice. It's like so tiny and like this, so you can carry it around on tour. It's fun.
All the cool kids are doing it. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Well, listen, you're lucky. I'm lucky. There's so many people that have it way harder than we do right now.
For sure.
You look great, brother. I'll send over some more files. We'll get working on some tunes. And as soon as this shit's over, we'll be passing some spliff around and playing some tunes real soon. It's fucking great to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, man.
Happy you're doing well. I'll catch you later. All right, peace.
Cheers, dude.
Right on. Love you, man. Can't wait till we get on the road again. I'm thinking I really want to check in with Dom Castelli, have a bit of a morning coffee and see what's up with him. All right. Dom Castelli, by the way, he has some very, very, very interesting news and a new project about to come out. So that's cool. So stay tuned. And don't forget to hang around till the end of this episode where I'll talk about how to be a producer of the show. All right. So let's get it on. Let's go see Dom. Boom.
Yeah, man. Dom, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm all right.
Cheers. It's coffee time.
Good morning.
It's Sunday morning coffees. It's perfect.
Coffee and ice cream.
Right? Yeah, man. So you just got home. You were out and about?
I did a daily walk, about 10 kilometers a day. Stay in shape, keep my body trim. Good exercise is a good motivation for a good mind at one point. So it's good. Yeah, it's solid. It's good.
For sure, man. So we've been in isolation now for what, 5-6 weeks or something like that?
Well, we got cut at March 12th is when they started the isolation thing for us, for the opera. And they shut our show down and we were told to go home. We partied all night that night with the crew until like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we woke up next morning and the reality set. And we were
right.
And then we realized this is freaking dangerous. And I didn't go home. I didn't leave home since then.
Wow. Do you live alone or do you live with somebody?
Yeah, I have a lot of ghosts of ex-girlfriends lying around.
Yeah.
No, it's a dumb joke. Sorry.
Hey, we're allowed to be dumb. Sunday mornings is definitely dumb time, man. I'm all about it.
I live totally alone. Yeah.
The reason I ask because I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and he's kind of weighing the pros and cons because some people find it hard being in a relationship in isolation or with roommates and stuff like that. Some people prefer to be alone and some people prefer to have people around them,
It's a real test of your relationship, I assume. I'm hearing some stories. Some people during it. I don't know. For me, it's been pretty fun. I hate to admit, despite the crisis and the death around us, I've been studying a lot. I'm trying to get back into school. I finished my book. I'm starting a new book.
Wait, time out. What book did you finish?
I finished the Jailhouse Rock book. The
what?
Jailhouse Rock show poster book. Yeah. Yeah, that was
nice.
Now, yeah, the website's up too and everything.
Where's the work? If somebody wants to go to the website and see it, what's it called?
Book of Shows, J Rock.
Nice.
I still have to buy the name, but you can go on the Facebook and look for Jailhouse Rock poster book, and you'll find it.
Cool.
Just look for me on Facebook, and I'll lead you to it because I've been talking about it a lot.
Right on.
We sold about 125 books already in pre-sales.
Amazing.
And I haven't started anything yet. I'm still kind of like in my pajamas, you know?
That sounds perfect. But it's cool. So basically it's going to be a history of like Montreal rock and roll and shows type thing, I guess.
It's a history of all of shows that was at the Jailhouse Rock Cafe from '88 to 2001, and you were part of that, actually, a big part of it. In
Yeah, man.
1998, I put one of your quotes in the book, actually. Made
Cool.
it. And it's a good quote. And your posters tripped you off when you performed and tripped you off.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good quote as well, and good posters as well. It's basically community. Everybody who did something at the Jailhouse Rock, and if I remembered who you were, and if it was a good poster, you're in the book. So you can imagine, you know, we have 7 days a week, on average 3 bands a night. Multiply that by the bass guitar, drum player times 3 bands. How many people walk through that venue? And so how many people this book actually in reality affects?
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
what was the capacity at Jailhouse?
226.
Yeah, and I mean, often, I'm not saying it was always sold out, but often the place was packed. So if you just calculate by numbers, how many people went through that place? That's incredible, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people lives like yourself, myself even, changed after the Jailhouse Rock.
Absolutely. Tell me, is Rudolph in the book?
Yes, Rudolph has
Amazing.
my poor puppy who I loved.
Who everybody loved.
It's my only relationship I think I've really been affected deeply by is Rudolph, and he's got a whole page. I wrote a little
Nice.
poem, a little picture of him. Surprisingly, I didn't have many pictures of Rudolph, but I have one, which is in the book. He's at the end of the book, and it was a difficult book to put together because I was working with a lot of emotions, and it took me a while to get it figured out. So now it's figured out. It's good.
Makes sense, man. So you're holding up okay then through this whole virus? You got a bunch of projects going on?
I'm totally happy, man.
I love it.
I'm beyond happy. I can't tell you how happy I am, man. I'm able to work. Another project I'm working on, besides another book, is the farm, which is very much like what Willie Nelson's done, which is he has a vegetable patch, he has a venue, and a cafe. And I'm working on a business plan for that.
Oh, cool.
So I'm looking, since you're talking about it, since you're like from the country, I'm putting it out there now so people who want to talk to me about it may want to be interested in getting part of it because it's going to happen.
Okay.
So it's a venue.
I love it, man. I love it. And like country living is where it's at. You know, like I love the hustle and bustle of the city, but man, I always have one foot in the country. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's exactly where my heart's at as well. And I'm working on a project deeply and I'm learning. So anybody knows anything about finances and think they can put some 2 cents in there, they can easily get in touch with me about that.
Amazing. Well, Dom, it looks like you're doing okay. I just want to do a quick check-in. I'm checking in with all my friends and, you know, we'll see each other soon enough, I'm sure. Hopefully sometime this summer we can get you over there if they allow us to.
They will soon. This will change.
Love you, brother. Stay cool.
Yes, man. Take care.
Right, peace. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dom with the beard, eh? Crazy. I don't know if you guys remember Andrew Harris. He was also one of the guests on K-Man Don't Know Shit. And he's in Toronto, and I figure we should ring him up, kind of surprise him a bit. All right, let's do that.
Do.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing good. Where are you at? Where's Andrew at here?
I'm trying to. I have a tripod, so I don't have to sit and hold my phone.
Andrew, good to see you. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? It's a weird time, right?
Right, isn't it? It's been interesting, that's for sure. That's why I thought it was about time to check in on everybody. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm contacting everybody that's been on the podcast so far, just to see and make sure that everybody's doing all right. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah. Toronto has been. I mean, the streets are barren, which is it's always eerie to when I do have to go out. Like just seeing like emptiness around me, you know. But it's. I mean, it's not the most convenient thing in the world, but you know, I'm used to this time of year being really busy. So,
well, that was one of the things I wanted to ask. I mean, obviously, you work in venues a lot of the time and stuff like this, right? And
I take it you're not really working on that angle right now. You know?
I haven't had a day's work since the beginning of March. So yeah.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, it's the corporate falling off that really killed me. Like, it's like, if I can't go mix a band in a bar, then that's like $100 out of my pocket. Like, I'll live, but the corporate, it's like, it's a lot more money that just isn't coming into my.
Yeah,
I'll live.
I hear you.
A lot of people have it worse off than me. So.
Pretty much everybody I've spoken to has said something similar, in the sense like, oh, it's rough, but nobody seems to be like, getting down on their own situation. Everybody does seem to realize that, there's somebody else in a worse situation. It's really kind of incredible to see. I mean, especially since often I find people are, thinking about their own situations, but I find in this weird time, everybody's like, I'm all right. I'm just all right. Yes, it sucks. Finances suck, but I'm all right.
Yeah. And I mean, if I didn't have a roof over my head and I didn't know that, the government stepped in with some funds, I'd be a lot more of a basket case.
Absolutely.
Well, like, actually, if the government hadn't stepped in with some funds, I'd probably be homeless by now. Either that, or like I would be on my way to being homeless when they start doing evictions again.
I think it's pretty safe to say that as Canadians, people living in Canada, we're doing all right compared to a lot of places, man. I mean, like, these security measures are put in place, but there's financial aid for a lot of people, and everybody, you can tell people are doing their best. It's really interesting.
Adjust this a little bit. Sorry. Oh, there we go. I feel bad for people in the States, because it's like, we're getting on a monthly basis enough money, at least for me. I'm looking at it and going, it's, it'll be tight, but it's not going to be unreasonable for me to live on that. In the States, it's like a $1,200 loan against future taxes or something. Like,
and it's not like every month or anything, right? I don't fully understand it. Exactly, it's one check for like $1,200. Like, you're not going to go very far with that.
and to cap it off, they don't even have access to the funds until the end of the summer. Like, it'll be like August before they get their.
You're jamming up on me there. Are you still there? Yeah.
Oh,
there you are.
Oh,
all right.
I'm still here. Yeah. That's the one thing, is my internet connection has been a little bit spotty. I think because there's so many people watching so much Netflix, or not watching Netflix.
That's
having it on, right?
So you have to yell out the window, "Hey, get off the porn so I can talk here." But how have you been keeping yourself busy through this whole time?
Exercise. I have a few projects that I've been working on. Like I have a little business doing installations, like audiovisual installations, and so there's some planning that for whenever in the future we're able to go back to work. I've got a few quotes that I've put out for that, and Netflix has, whatever. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I don't really play an instrument. I played the trombone when I was a teenager, but I've owned guitars for 20 years. I just can't really play them.
Right.
So I have I've put an hour a day on and off into sitting and learning to play. Actually, it's a bass that I've been working on. Apparently, the strings being further apart is easier for my hand to figure out.
But it's interesting, because it is a great time to pick up a project or a hobby that you wanted to for a long time. It's absolutely fantastic. Are you having a beer right now?
I am.
Man, you're one up on me. I did have a coffee with a bit of whiskey in it there before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I figure it's 3 in the afternoon. So, sorry, go on.
I just talked to Dom Castelli, who was on the podcast as well, and we had our little morning coffees there a couple of minutes ago. But
cool. Okay.
Have you been out on the streets at all in Toronto?
Yeah, I try not to go out a whole lot, but when I do go out, people are in general pretty respectful. Yeah. And doing the social. You know who I've noticed that are not doing it though? Yuppies.
Who? Really?
Yuppies. Yeah. We had to go. we didn't actually yesterday. It wasn't a necessary. I just like I had to get out of the house, and
Absolutely. And that's necessary.
yeah. Well. Anyway, there's a coffee shop that has good baked goods. That's a bit of a walk away, but you can get there without being on too many major streets. So we walked down there yesterday. But once we had to get onto Queen Street, it was just like 3 or 4 times I was basically dodging like couples walking side by side down the sidewalk, and I'm going, "What are you doing?" Like
dodging bullets.
yeah. How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, kind of like you in the sense that I feel much luckier than most. I mean, I'm working. I work an essential job. I'm not working full hours, but I'm working 25 hours a week right now, and so I haven't had to apply for any aid or anything like that. Except my lady, though, because she's a hairdresser, she hasn't been able to work at all. So it's been hard on her being stuck in the house constantly. And I mean, when she does go out, it's like, to go do groceries or something like that. And that's not a pleasure right now. It's a stressful thing to do groceries.
Oh, hey, actually, I should mention this. I found an app that somebody wrote that will tell you how long the lineups are at grocery stores on a map. Like
That's cool.
Yeah, and it uses, I'll send you the link if you want. It uses Google metadata or like, it knows how many people are connected to Google at a certain location, and it assumes that the line's going to be whatever
a percentage of that.
Yeah, and it's been pretty accurate from what I can tell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
man. So when you say you've been getting exercise as well, what kind of exercise stuff have you been doing?
Well, I purchased a Peloton exercise bike before all this was going on. I took delivery in January. And I don't know if you're familiar with this thing.
No.
It's an exercise bike that's connected to the internet, and it has a tablet built into it, and you have like an instructor that's on demand, like it's classes on demand and whatever. Cool. And it keeps track of like your resistance and your the cadence, like how fast you're pedaling and stuff. It gives you a little report at the end. That's the part that appeals to me, is that you get all this reporting.
The quintessential nerd. I love it.
Yeah, but no, even after a couple of weeks using it, I was when things were still normal, I was going for the few shifts that I had. They were long ones. They were like 16, 18-hour shifts. And I remember saying to somebody, if I hadn't started doing this exercise thing, I would be bagged at the end of like a 16-hour day. Now I am, or I was in January, February, I was still getting bagged, but it wasn't so bad, and I could bounce back, and I didn't waste the whole following day like recovering. So.
Oh, that's cool. Well, listen, I'm really happy to check in with you. You look great. I want to make sure to say hey to the lady too. How's she doing?
She's okay, up and down. She is having, I think, a harder time with being stuck inside than I am, but
well, different personality types, man. Well, listen, call up anytime and reach out to your people as well. All right, much love to you, brother.
I have an idea for your lady. She could do like hairdressing, but by Zoom, and just like tell people, okay, now cut here. Okay.
All right.
No, you need the back, and
that's it, exactly. A little harder.
Yeah.
Right on, Andrew.
Okay.
Love you, brother, and we'll see each other face to face soon enough, I'm sure. And anytime you want to reach out, anytime. All right.
Okay. See you soon.
All right. Peace, man.
Okay, bye.
All right. Great to see everybody. I'm really happy I decided to do this. The check-ins with all the past guests during the Corona isolation time. It's pretty cool, and I think it's a good idea to check in on your friends, especially ones that you haven't heard from. Some people kind of fall through the cracks and need a little reaching out to. So if this motivates anybody to reach out to their friends, all the better. But thanks a lot for hanging around. This was part 1. We're going to come up with part 2. I've already started working on it, so don't forget to click on subscribe. It really helps grow the channel. And I've been getting messages from people, awesome freaking people, who have asked, hey, how can I help with the channel? And
keep this thing going on. It's really cool to see that people are getting attached. I even had one guy from Toronto. His name's Kennedy. He has a great new show called Backstage with Kennedy, and he said that this show inspired him to do the same type of thing, and that's freaking awesome. So yeah, when people ask how to support, I think the best thing is just direct. It's a community thing. I set up a PayPal link. I'm totally open to humbly receiving any donations, but you know what, that sounded weird, just a donation. So what I've come up with is anybody who donates, no matter what amount, whether it's 50 cents, $2, $10, 20, etc., with any donation to the PayPal link, you will become a producer of the next episode. And at the end of each episode, I'll run the credits of who produced each one. So I just think it's a cooler way to do it. And I just can't thank you guys enough for all your support. So we'll be back real soon with episode number 2, all right, of the Corona check-ins. So stay cool, guys, and hope you're well. Be safe. Catch you later. All right, boom. Oh, came in, no shit.